welcome. This is Clement Pepe. I'm a success coach. Today, I want to talk about the word responsibility. Now, I've asked the definition of that word over the years that I've been doing it. I don't know how many times I've asked it, and I've gotten so many different definitions of that word. A lot of times people can't define responsibility, and they want to use responsible in the definition. We can't do that. You can't put a word in the definition. Well, responsibility is to be responsible. No, that doesn't work. So I want to really break down that word, if you will, and that way of being called responsible. And this is probably one of the most important things that we human beings can all learn. And, a lot of times the words that I've heard or the definitions that I've heard over the years to responsibility are something I have to do, something I need to do, something I need to take ownership, something I'm forced to do, etc. So there's a lot of different variations of that definition, if you will. And I want to give you a new one, one that will really empower you to create what it is that you want to create out there in the world. We all, if we don't have goals, we all should have goals. And again, just for our definition of goals, something that we want to be, we want to do, or we want to have, that's a stretch, yet it's attainable. Okay, so something we want to be, we want to do, we want to have, that's a stretch, yet it's attainable. And we are goal-seeking machines. It's almost like those missiles. I guess they're heat-seeking missiles. We're goal-seeking machines. We need goals. Human being, that's something that we are born into. And so when you reach a goal, we've talked about this before, it's time to start a new goal, to set a new goal. And then once you've reached that, it's time to set a new one, etc. So we're never done really reaching for goals. But the key is enjoying the process along the way. It's not that, when I get that goal, then I'll be happy. Or when I get that, then I'll be happy. No, be happy. You'll get the goal. It works in reverse. It's an inside job, really. It's not an outside job. Happiness doesn't come from out. It comes from within. Let's get back to the definition of responsibility. So responsibility for our purposes here, and I want you to hold this as a possibility, go out, work with it, try it on, see if it fits, so to speak, and use it for what you're up to out there in life. But responsibility is willing to, did you ever hear the saying, if it's to be, it's up to me? Now, basically, that's really what responsibility is about. It's really taking it from a place of, I am responsible. I am causing what I want to have happen in my life. Because if I'm not causing what I want to be happening in my life, a lot of times the opposite of causing is the effect of. And so if I'm not causing something, I'm the effect of something. And that something is something out in our lives. We've got a lot of things out there in our lives. We've got our money situation. We've got time. We've got the economy. We've got the government. We've got the COVID-19 at this point. We've got all kinds of different things that we've got out there in the world. But if we're not causing things to happen, then we're going to be the effect of something happening. And when we're the effect of something happening, we're giving up our power to that something. Giving up our power to money, giving up our power to the government, giving up our power to the staying in, giving up our power to that. And when we're operating from loss of power, we're not going to be as effective. When we're owning our power, when we're coming from I cause it to happen, I cause what I want to have happen. And by the way, when I talk about power, I'm not talking about like our thumb on someone. I'm talking about power that was given to us by the Creator. We were all endowed with it at birth. And so what we did is we gave it up sometimes. A lot of times we've held responsibility as a burden, fault, blame, shame, because that's kind of how we were raised with it. It was like, who's responsible for this? You're responsible to get your room clean. Who's responsible for this? You're responsible to get good grades. It's like, whoa, don't give me any more responsibility, man. That's too much like a burden. But it's none of those things. It's really the willingness to own that, yes, I am cause in whatever's going on out there. Not bad, not wrong, not guilt, not blame, just is. And because it just is, that's the good news. Because when you're operating from a place called responsibility, the willingness to take it on, like if it's to be, it's up to me. If there's stuff out there in your life that's not working, and by the way, who doesn't have stuff out there in our life that isn't working? But when it's not, when you're owning it, when you're coming from that place called I'm cause over all of this, then you can change what's not working out there. But when you're not, when you're coming from the effect of what's going on out there, then you're not going to be able to change anything. Hey, it's not my fault. Don't blame me. The government did this, or the people did that, or my money didn't do this, or the boss did that, etc. And when we're operating from that, we're giving up our power to that. And responsibility is not something to do, by the way. It's a way of being. And what I mean by a way of being, it's our internal conversation. It's what we declare. It's basically, you know, when we're declaring an I am, so I am responsible, or I am overwhelmed, or I am tired, or I am upset. Those I ams are really our ways of being. I am not a morning person, or etc. These are all ways of being. This is everything that we declare is our way of being, if we keep declaring it over and over again. And now what happens out of that way of being is we do what's consistent with that way of being. So if my way of being is I'm not a morning person, I'm probably going to sleep in when the alarm goes off. I'm going to hit the snooze button I don't know how many times. I'm not going to get up when I'm supposed to. I'm going to get I'll be tired when I do get up. I'm going to be tired for the rest of the day, perhaps, because that way of being is dictating what we do, you see. But if you're declaring, and the good news about way of being, just like everything else, we're making all our ways of being up. Those dialogues that we're telling ourselves, we're making them up. I know it doesn't seem like it, but we really are. Not what is, again, no, we don't make up what is, but we're making up our conversation. You're not making up morning, but you're making up your conversation, your meaning to morning. So in order to shift, if you want to be getting up earlier, you want to get more productive in the morning, you got to start declaring a new way of being called I'm a morning person. I get up, make things happen, etc., etc. And as you start being that, you'll start doing that. You see? That's why we're called human beings and not human doings. Our beingness is much more important than our doingness. Our beingness dictates what we do. And so our way of being needs to be, in this case, I'm responsible. If it's to be, it's up to me. And so when we're operating from that place, and by the way, like everything else, this takes work. It takes like working a muscle. If you haven't worked that bicep in a while, it's going to be a little atrophied in the gym when you go in. But the more that you work it, the stronger it'll get, the stronger it'll get. This talk and every talk that I'm going to do and have done is all about giving you more tools to practice to get those muscles stronger. And the only way we get things stronger is if we practice it. And that's why, what they say, practice makes perfect. No, you may have heard it just recently. Perfect practice makes perfect. You've got to practice those things that are going to give you what you want. If you're practicing one thing and it's not going to give you what you want, if you're a golfer and you're practicing your swing and that swing is the swing that is going to make you slice the ball, even though you're hitting the ball and you're doing it well, the ball is going to slice every time because you've been practicing slicing the ball. And so even though you're practicing something, it ain't going to show up perfect for you. And so our job is to take that practice, make it perfect, toward what the outcome needs to be. And so practicing this conversation called responsibility is something that has to start today. You've got to come from a place that if it's to be, it's up to me. If I'm going to have a 10 marriage, so to speak, then it's not up to my spouse to have that 10 marriage. It's up to me to have that 10 marriage. And when we come from that place, there's so much more power in you creating the relationship you want it to be. And the interesting thing about when we are operating from that place called responsibility is that it starts to show up in others out there in the world. It's almost like they were listening to this talk also. And now they're showing up out in that same vein from that place called, if it's to be, it's up to me. And that's the best relationship you could have, is where both people are coming from 100% responsibility to make this happen, expecting nothing from the other. And when we're operating from 100% responsibility, and then the other is operating from 100% responsibility, that relationship is going to flourish. But a lot of us are operating from maybe 50% or whatever, and if we're operating from 50%, it's not going to happen because, and we're not getting what we want. We're not be giving what we want. Now, all of a sudden, the relationship's going to break down. Same with the world. The world is the same thing. We've got to come from 100% responsibility toward what the world is. I think Gandhi said it. You be the change you want to see in the world. And it's the same with this. And that's really what responsibility is coming from that place. And again, when I say coming from, it's very, very, for me, I get very frustrated when I hear so many people talk about different things that we should be doing and how we should be this way and but they don't really give you the how to do that. I'm a big proponent of teaching how to do these things, not just to say do it, because if it was all about just doing it, we'd all go do it. If we wanted to do it and we wanted to be rich, we'll say, read a book about being rich, then we should all be rich. But no, it doesn't work that way. It works on when you start practicing tools and techniques and practices and principles on how to do that. And how it is that we practice being responsible is to come from that place, keep telling ourselves, if I'm going to have the life I want, it's up to me to have it. If I'm going to have the body I want, weight-wise, health-wise, energy-wise, etc., it's up to me. If I'm going to have the life I want in regards to my business, in regards to my career, in regards to my family, in regards to my health and fitness, in regards to my spiritual walk, it's up to me. Now, when we're operating from that place, there's a much more powerful place that we're operating from. And when I say operating from, it's really the dialogue that we keep telling ourselves. That's how we know where we're operating from. And the good news about the dialogue we keep on telling ourselves, making it all up. Everything that we tell ourselves, we're making up. Now, we may have evidence to support it. We may have people told us that before. All the things that we think is the reason we're doing that isn't necessarily that's good for us. So if we're going to be creating a life we love, we got to be loving ourselves. We got to be empowering ourselves with our conversations, our dialogues. So if you're telling yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, I'm not this, I wasn't born here, I wasn't born there, I'm not tall enough, I'm not short enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not young enough, whatever we're telling ourselves, it ain't working. If it's holding us back, if it's giving us those other aspects of not being the causing things to happen, but being the effect of. Or another word we can use it for it is victim to. Because a lot of times we operate from a place of victim. There's nothing I can do about that, or woe is me, or the boss isn't going to give me that raise, or they're not going to do this, or it's not going to have that. And so we become victim to it, again, taking our power away. So our job is to operate at the power that's already within us. The good news about every human being out there is that we don't have to go find this power somewhere. It's already within us. It's not in a liquor bottle. It's not in a pill bottle. It's not in a 7-Eleven. It's not in a Maserati. It's not in any of those things. You've heard that statement, looking for love in all the wrong places. Well, that's what we do sometimes. But it's already within us. And so when we're operating from that place called responsibility, then we're tapping into that power. And then, I've heard just the other day, someone said this, that a lot of times we're looking at life as like mysticism, like it's going to happen outside of us. There's going to be, if they can do it for me, or that would happen for me, and if this could happen for me, or if they would do this for us, or whatever, then all of a sudden, then everything would shift with us. It won't happen. Where it's going to shift is within us. So from this point on, whenever you come up with a situation, or to a situation, or in a situation, start declaring. If it's to be, it's up to me. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I want to make this happen. Whatever this is, whatever that goal that you want to have happen. And you keep declaring that to yourself, no matter what the evidence is showing you. Then that's going to get you to be taking more actions, more consistent with having what you want out there. Now, does that mean every time you're coming from this place called responsibility, from a powerful place, that you're going to get what you want? Probably not. There's no perfection in the world. There was one, and we crucified him. So we don't have much chance of this perfection. But what we do have a chance of is excellence. We can be the very best we can be. And that's what you want to shoot for. Don't shoot for perfection, because perfection and human being don't go together. So forget it if you're looking for it. And what you'll do is you'll only make yourself miserable when you don't do what you thought you're supposed to do, when you don't have what you thought you're supposed to have. You will only make yourself miserable. So perfection's out, excellence is in, being the very best we can be. And that's what I'm doing here with these talks and whatnot, is give you more tools to be the very best you can be on an ongoing basis for all those areas that are important to you. Because what we're doing here is working on the human being. And then we take the human being and put them into all those different areas of our lives that are important to us. The old adage, wherever you go, there you are. And so this work is really predicated on that. Not so much what to do, but who to be. And out of that being, again, you'll do consistent with it. So today, work this method, if you will, by keep telling yourself that conversation. When you're in doubt, whatever, just if it's to be, it's up to me. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to make this happen, whether it be what you're doing there at home, what you're doing at work, what you're doing in your playtime, whatever you're doing. You come from that place, I am making this happen, etc. Make sense? So let me tell you a little bit more about power technology and the coaching that I've been doing over the last 28 and a half years. Because this is really something that I find, and I've been a coach and I've been coached over the years many, many times, etc. And I've always found that when I'm being coached, I'm much more effective than when I'm not. And it's the same with anyone. Anyone who wants to really take their lives to another level needs to have someone else that is going to hold them to a much higher level than where they're being. That's why professional athletes are all being coached, business people, actors, actresses, etc. So coaching is not something just for the elite. It's for all of us. And this coaching that I do is really a little bit different than than what I see out there, because what I do is really help people get underneath some of the things that stop them or slow them down from having the results they want. Because even though we know what to do, sometimes we're not doing it. So the coaching is an opportunity to find out what may be in the way, and then teaching you how to get the best out of yourself. And I offer a free consultation, a free self-analysis. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about what we're doing here, then go to the website or email me or satellite dish me, however we can contact each other. Or you know someone you feel this could be work for them, then let me know about that. And then the other thing is, again, and this is exciting for me, is that I've got the Coaching Academy that we're coaching and certifying others out there in the world where they can become a life coach or a success coach or a business coach, and they can go out and make a living doing something that is a lot of fun because you're helping others get their goals met. And if you want to change your career, you want to take another level in your income, you want to do this on a part-time basis, it works for anyone. You can do it anywhere in the world, basically. So, and again, that's the website is ptcoachingacademy.com. That's on the description on the front of this too. So take a look at that if you're interested. If you want to see what I've been doing and helping clients of mine for, again, 28 and a half years I've been doing this. So it's not something, I think I'll just do this for a part-time basis. No, I've been doing this, like I say, 28 and a half years. So take a look. If you're interested, take a look and give me a call and contact me and we'll talk about it. Now, the other thing is, again, on these videos, if you like what you hear, share it, put it down on there, I like it, or whatever. If you have a comment, you want to say something about the video, or if you want to ask some questions, or you want to have me talk about different aspects of what was going on, what you can learn out there, let me know that. And if you can share it on your feed, again, that's another way to get it out to the world. And that would do me a favor and the people out there a favor. And if you could leave it up on your feed for a day or 2 days at the most, then that will get that out there to yourself. I'm not sure exactly the Facebook process out there, but like everything, the more we do, the more we create, etc. So in closing, I want to say that, again, practice is the key to all of what we do. This time that we're together, that's nice, it's, you had a good time, you learned something around, but that in 75 cents, you can go out and buy a cup of coffee, or maybe $5 now, and needs more money in mocha places. But whatever it is that you're going to get is where you have to take it and use it in your life. So from this point on, whenever anything is out there in the world, you come from that place called, it's up to me to create it to be the way I want it. And you've been doing this on a consistent basis, maybe not, but you've been doing this, but now this is not so much something you're going to do anymore. It's a way of being. And so when I get up in the morning, this is what you're going to say. Yeah, I'm going to make this a great day. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm going to make this a great day. And when we're doing that, we're excited about it. And then we're going out there and doing what that way of being is. And then we're creating what we're doing based on what that way of being is. So your beingness creates your doingness. Your doingness creates your having. Keep doing it, and you will create the life you want. And by the way, between now and next time we get together, go out there and live the life you love, and love the life you live.